Esther and Shui Klavan are exemplary role models to so many in our community.
In terms of, the way they raise their kids, the examples that they set, it serves as a role model and an example, quite frankly, for all of us.
The Klavans do so much for our shul, so much for our community.
We want to wish a huge mazel tov to the guests of honor, to our friends Shui and Esther Klavan. Shui and Esther worked tirelessly, to put it mildly, on behalf of our kahila.
When we first moved to the neighborhood, we didn't know anybody. We had the same bus stop as the Klavans because they live across the street from us. Esther noticed that for a few days, she was bringing the kids to the bus stop without me. She asked him, is your wife okay? And it happens to be that my back had gone out and I was, laid up in bed. The next thing I know, Esther had made arrangements for a whole bunch of people in the community to bring us dinner. Literally, we had never met these people yet. At that point, we didn't even know them, and they were, Esther was already doing that for us.
One of the things that drew us to Beth Aaron, aside from my parents who already lived in this community, was the concept of going to a shul with multiple generations. And having our parents on both sides in this community or close by enables our children to not just learn from us, but more importantly, learn from their grandparents. They've learned the importance of carefulness with tefillah. They've learned the importance of respect for a makom kadosh. And they've learned an overall sense of kavod habrios.
We owe an akar tov to our parents and our families. It wasn't that our parents would talk about how we should be oskei b'tzarchei tzibor, but they lived it.
When I think of the family, I think of what we learn in Pirkei Avos about the world being built on Torah, Avodah, and Gemilus Chasodim.
We're in a unique position that we've gotten to see our adult children become part of the community that we're living in, become leaders in their community. I guess we couldn't be prouder when a family stands under the chuppah with their children and they hear the words, Livnot Bayit Ne'eman B'Yisrael. We kind of hope and dream that that will happen. And we're able to see it happen. And it's not just their bayit, their home, but also the shul community.
Josh is everything to the shul.
I've never seen someone who's wanted to make everybody comfortable in shul as much as Shui has done.
One thing that I learned from my parents is to always be warm, inclusive, and inviting. Just like every year on Pesach, my father always prepares games for the Seder that will be fun for all different ages.
One lesson I learned from my parents is to be proactive and part of the solution. Another message I learned from my parents was to really appreciate the meaning of the words you're saying during davening.
Something I've learned from my parents is that time is very valuable, and it's always good to use it to help other people.
And both my parents ran She'er HaPlate, where they would be able to provide food for those who needed it based on the leftovers from different simchas and events.
Having been at board meetings with him, so always liked the way he would open up a meeting with the Dvar Torah, because shul business is not just business. We also are here for a bigger purpose.
It's remarkable to me, and I think it's symbolic that a simple thing like at the end of Motzei Shabbos, when we go downstairs for Kiddush Levanah, who is giving out the sheets? Anybody could be doing this, but he somehow gets there first, and it's just an instinct of his to serve.
And he also was behind the initiative that the shul should have raincoats.
Nothing worse than leaving shul. When you came to shul, it looks okay out, but when you're leaving, it's pouring. But then you got those ponchos that come to save the day. There's no plaque there, there's no sign that says where it comes from. But thank you to Shui and Esther.
Shui is a very intuitive person who is able to look at any situation and really get it from a 360-degree angle and come up with solutions that maybe others are not even aware of.
I actually know Shui way before I knew Esther. Shui and I went to Moriah Elementary School together, and we actually sang in the choir together. Shui was by far the smartest kid in our Moriah class. He never got in trouble. The reason Shui is such an effective leader is because he really takes pride in his community.
They carry themselves in a way which reflects a modesty and a fine kind of the highest order. When I think of them, I think of the pasuk, Divrei Chachamim B'nachas Nishma'im. They command such respect from each and every one of us, but it comes from a place of pure nachas, a softness and a gentle tone. Esther and Shui devote themselves entirely and earnestly to our community. They are active leaders in every sense of the word in areas of Torah, Avodah, and Gemilus Chasadim.
When COVID first began, he was the president of the shul, so I was very impressed that he was able to pivot. Like no one's ever really experienced such a thing.
They have carried our Kehila through some of the most difficult and challenging time in our community's history.
At the beginning of COVID, nobody knew what was to come. Shui, together with the rabbi, together with other members of the shul board, were able to make difficult and very bold decisions that helped keep our community safe at that difficult time.
Esther was the smiling face who welcomed me to the shul when we first came.
Esther is a very no-nonsense person who sees things clearly, addresses issues.
Esther is not only incredible at what she does at her work at Sinai, she is a very well-respected educator and leader.
Her insights are very sharp.
And that's really been a huge asset in speaking to her not only as someone who is a member of Beth Aaron, but also as a friend.
I also personally want to wish and express a Kar Satov to my Ishes Chayil, to my wife, and my children. They probably were not so happy with me when I was president, as I would probably be late home from shul, because I would be shaking everybody's hand after davening, either Friday night or Shabbos day, or just embarrassed of my corny one-liners and adjectives that I would use to end the weekly announcements.
We all used to look forward to his ending off his announcements when he would, instead of just saying have a good Shabbos, there would always be have a something and something Shabbos, and we all looked forward to it to see, okay, what is it going to be? What's the wittiness there?
Which actually reminds me, it's been a long time, but thank you so much for the shul for allowing me to speak this last time and for being recognized. It's been a long time, so I prepared a list of remarks. Birshas Harav, oh, sorry, force of habit. Thank you for allowing me to speak one last time in front of you. Thank you so much for this recognition, and I wish all of you an engaging, refreshing, tasty, colorful, lively, blessed, souped up, transformative, fruitful, aromatic, cheesy, wait, how'd that get in there? Constructive, memorable, spirited, enlightened, and enjoyable dinner. Thank you so much.
Shui's also co-led our 50th anniversary committee. He's actually helped lead 5 different subcommittees to do a plethora of events at the shul, including some very famous ones, some speakers, a Torah journal.
I don't think there's a position in the shul that Shui hasn't taken.
Somehow they put energy into so many different areas of the community, but primarily into their family.
I think they're also raising children who seem to have that inside of them.
Just a quick message to our own kids, to Izzy, Leah, Moshe, Ora, and Rina. Thank you for being here tonight. This honor is yours too. And as you continue to grow and develop your own plans, hold on to that which you've learned while at the same time becoming your own person.
Our shul is so blessed to have such a special couple in our midst, modeling for each and every one of us what it means to be osek b'tzarchei tzibur be'emunah.
For us giving back, it's really just a small percentage of what you really give to us and have given to us for our family. This shul has been built on chesed. We learned not too long ago how the early members of the shul came into the building, painted it, arranged the chairs, made it ready for that to be a makom tefillah for the shul and for its members. And really, that was the foundation for the future.
From the bottom of our hearts, Esther and Shui, thank you so much for all that you have done for us. May you continue to have the strength to display the same commitment and endurance with constancy and dedication for many happy and healthy years to come.
Mazel tov, Mommy and Abba. We love you.